Hello, my name is Tim Lahili, and in this video, we're going to be discussing the administration capabilities within the Quincy Review platform. Administration in the Quincy Review platform is pretty straightforward. There isn't a lot to it. There are only a few capabilities, and those are fairly intuitive. There are two places administration occurs. The first is this one button. This is the ability to add users to a case. When you click on it, you can add any user in the system to the case. They don't have to be users within your environment. However, because of that flexibility and capability, we don't allow you to, if you will, have a drop-down list for security reasons. You have to know the user's name. So if you type in somebody that's in the system and you go ahead and click Grant User Access, it's going to tell you we've granted the user access only if that user exists. You have to confirm with the user directly to make sure they have access. So we're not even acknowledging that the user exists. We're simply saying if a user exists with this username, they now have access. In this case, there is a user like that, so they do have access. The other place administration occurs is here in the admin panel. Let's go ahead and open that up. The admin panel has two functionalities, case and users. Let's go ahead and start on cases. This lists the cases that are available to us and the users that have access to those cases. These are only users we have the right to see. So if we don't have permissions to view a user that has access to one of these cases, they will not be registered here. You can perform an edit task here, but there's very little you can change about this. You can add or remove users, but again, only users that you have knowledge of, or direct control over, and you can change the case name, neither of which is worth doing at the moment. More interesting things can be done here in the User tab. In the User tab, what you can do that's interesting is you can add a user, and you can change the permissions of that user, specifically what cases they have access to. You always see yourself as a user in this panel. Please don't mess with your own permissions. It can end up going poorly for you. But let's go ahead and add a user, and we'll just do a dummy user. Not going to bother with a first name or a last name. It's going to ask us for a password. We're going to go ABC123 and hit save. Okay, this is an interesting point, and I'm pretty glad this happened. What this is telling us is that we don't have the rights to add a user. The reason I don't have the rights to add a user is because I've signed it as a normal free user, and free users in this system, this is a development system, don't have the ability to add sub-users. That may be the case or it may not be the case in the environment you're working in. If you're allowed to add users, it will let you. If you're not, of course, it won't. But since I'm not allowed, I'm not going to be able to add a user. However, there's not a heck of a lot exciting to it anyway. If I were able to add one, I just click OK there. It would add it, and then I'd be able to alter the permissions of that user. Let's go ahead and refresh here. This is the video user. This is me personally. I'm going to go ahead and do what I told you not to do, which is mess with my own permissions. So I just show you how that works. The only thing you can really alter here, of course, is the cases you have access to. If I were to remove this, I'd no longer have access to this case, which of course would make no sense. But when you have a child user, you can go ahead and grant them accesses to cases or remove their rights to access to cases. And then obviously you can save that. I'm just going to go ahead and cancel here. Anyway, that's all there really is to administration within Quincy. It's relatively limited, relatively straightforward, and hopefully pretty intuitive. If you have any questions, go ahead and post them on the message board, and I hope this was helpful.